Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Rob's Little Blue Book. And tonight we are doing chicken fried steak, which I kind of have a love-hate relationship with. I really wanted to. I've made this before a couple times, and it hasn't really gone all that well, and I haven't made it in a long time. But originally I wanted to love this dish. I love Southern cooking. I love the flavors. I like everything about it. But chicken fried steak was something I have never been able to do right. The last couple times I made it, it was bland, and it was tough, and it was just not good. So I'm going to try it again anyway. It sort of came up in conversation, and I thought, I should give that another shot because it's supposed to be good, right? Like I feel like I'm missing something because it's this classic everywhere dish. And like I don't know, it's got to be more than redneck tempura, right? Like it's got to be something. So I'm gonna give it a shot. But first we're doing a cocktail, and I have given up on random cocktails from wherever. The last 2 or 3 have been a bit of a miss. So I have a nice bottle here of Aperol. Switch cameras in a sec. This was a present from my brother. Or a thank you for using my car, whatever. So what we're going to do is what's called and we've done the Negroni before, but we're going to do an Aperol Negroni. So originally I thought this was like a Negroni with an Italian twist, but the Negroni's Italian already, so it's Italian with a different Italian twist. So as you know, Negroni is normally made with, well, it's, do you guys know the story? Probably went over the story of the Negroni before, but the drink before the Negroni was Campari, which we're not using tonight, sweet vermouth, and soda. And legend has it that Count Negroni wanted his drink stronger, so he asked the bartender to make it substitute the soda for gin, which is actually just an excellent rule of thumb for making cocktails. Soda could be replaced with gin in most cocktails, and they would be better. Except for maybe a vodka soda. That would be weird. Anyway, so we're going to do a Aperol Negroni, which is just super simple. It's equal parts gin and Aperol and sweet vermouth. I'm using Dolan sweet vermouth here. The other one I have is, I forget the one I don't like. Martini and Rossi is a vermouth I don't care for. I think I have Ginzano over there as well. But Dolan's is fine. So again, we got, this is all clear liquors. So this is a stirred drink. Just give it a little bit of a blend here. And then, you know, you want to stir for, again, somewhere around the 10-second mark is about right. Oh, as well, we're gonna do mashed potatoes tonight as well. They're on the go back there, because it seems like it's the classic pairing with chicken fried steak. All right, I got my hopes up. I already like Negronis. I like Aperol. I don't expect any surprises on this one, but we'll do the taste test anyway. You can serve this in a rock glass or a martini glass, or I have a coupe here. That would all be good. So, cheers, everybody. And that is just delicious. Finally. I was feeling I was losing my touch a little bit. Although you just know from looking at it, like cocktails that look like a zombie, like the zombie or whatever. What was it, Texas tea we made? They're just not going to be good. You can just tell looking at the ingredients. Okay, we're going to put that one in the win column and get moving here. Let's go over ingredients. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make the gravy first. Then we're going to make the chicken fried steak. So chicken fried steak. Why is it called chicken fried steak? There's no chicken in it, obviously, but it's basically, and this is where I started to do a little bit of research and a little thinking on my own, because I can do that. It's steak made like fried chicken. That's it. So I think one of the times I made this before, I used like breadcrumbs and did it like a schnitzel, and that I don't think is right. It's not. That's like a katsu too. It's not. That's not it. It's not a schnitzel. It needs to be prepared like chicken. So that's what we're gonna do tonight. I'm taking my buttermilk chicken prep recipe, and we are gonna make it into steak. We're literally doing chicken fried steak. My fried chicken is good. It's really good. I hope that the steak is good as well. So let's switch here and get on to some of the ingredients. So, okay, so let's talk about steak. I have here. So what you want, and the nice thing about this dish or this recipe is it uses a really inexpensive cut of meat, which these days is a pretty good thing. So you can actually buy tenderized. It's called cube steak or tenderized steak, mechanically tenderized. But it all adds up to the same thing. You've probably seen it in the supermarket. It looks like ground beef, but it's a steak, and it's simply top round, normally top or bottom round steak that's been put through a machine to make it more tender. I couldn't find cube steak, and I don't have the machine, so I just did it old school with meat hammer. So this guy here, pound, and I just pounded down some. I don't even remember. Top round, eye round, these, and they're really thin. You can see here, like they're really, really thin, and that will keep them hopefully tender. So that's the meat. Now, to prep that, should we do the gravy first? I kind of feel like we should do the gravy first. But I did want to go over the ingredients, and we'll see. So, the other thing I want to do is boost the flavor. So the first thing we can do, actually, since we have this out, is this is going to need salt and pepper before we do anything. So we really want to boost flavor in this dish because the times I've made it before, it just didn't seem to have a lot going on. So we're going to add, be a little generous salt and pepper here. We're going to flip these guys and do the same. Probably only going to pepper one side here. A bit of pepper. Get over. And then we're going to dredge these in a seasoned flour twice. And we're going to steal a trick from both my buttermilk chicken recipe and also from Asian cooking, because we're going to sort of micro velvet the meat. So I'm going to toss in some baking soda and some baking powder into the egg wash with the into the egg wash, and that will tenderize it even more. Oh yeah, by the way, the garnish for the I forgot. The garnish for the Negroni is an orange slice, which I can't eat, but it's quite nice to have in the glass. Okay, so any questions on the meat? That actually seems pretty straightforward. So the other way we're going to boost, so this dish can be done, you can fry it in a pan of oil like a Dutch oven. I have a deep fryer, which we're going to use tonight. In order to boost the flavor, I actually took my entire store of duck fat and put it in my deep fryer. So we're going to deep fry these in duck fat, which will hopefully boost the flavor as well. Now, tricky thing here is my deep fryer is off because duck fat has a smoke point of pretty much exactly 375 degrees, give or take. And my deep fryer maxes out at, it's duck fat. Where's the Kingston crew, right? Finally, not only we're using duck fat, we're literally using all of my duck fat. I mean, I'm going to save it. You can use it again. But, yes. So, the deep fryer is off. So, somebody in about 10 minutes remind me to turn it back on because duck fat will start to smoke at 375. So, we're basically going to ramp up the deep fryer, put the things in, and, exactly, give or take. Come on. It's like, sorry, what I meant by give or take, okay, I had a thought in my head, and I wasn't going to go through it. So, what will affect the smoke point of an oil, the give or take part, is that as you use it, I mean, even duck fat has a number of there's a limit on the number of times you can use it. And the more impurities in the fat, it lowers the smoke point. So I used this duck fat for confit a couple of times. I made potato chips with it once because potato chips deep fried in duck fat are awesome. So the smoke point is probably like a little bit lower than pure duck fat. So that went on in my head, and now you guys know. So we're going to do a gravy, and we're going to start the gravy. We're going to use the duck fat in the gravy. We're going to use a pinch of thyme for spice, maybe a little bit of cayenne, and we're just going to build the seasoning as we go. Now the seasoning is relatively simple for this dish. It's just salt, pepper, cayenne. We're going to do a little bit of thyme in the gravy. We're going to caramelize some onions. I should do that actually. Where'd my onion go? The gravy is another thing that kind of let me down too. I had the same problem with chicken and waffles, which is another dish that you're welcome. Chicken and waffles is another dish that I wanted to love. I love the concept of it. It's cool, weird, and I don't like it. I don't like anything about it. It's just a bizarre blend of savory and sweet, and I don't like the gravy. And I'm a little nervous because chicken and waffles uses the same gravy that we're going to do tonight, a cream gravy. So I'm going to boost... no idea what that's about. I'm going to boost the flavor by caramelizing some onions for the gravy. Now, you can dice your onions for this. I really like, I've said this before, I really like sliced onions for caramelization. I don't mind having the onion strands in my dish. I like the way they wrap the food. I like the way they taste. I like the way they look. Not a huge onion fan. You can dice them or whatever you want. I hope Chad's not going to be a problem tonight. I do not have Rena tonight as moderator. She's got to play. So, hopefully I'll have to. I have no idea how to do that even. Okay. So our onions are now ready. Let's make the gravy. So my plan is we're going to make the gravy, and then we are going to dredge the steaks, make the steaks, fry everything up. At some point, I got to keep checking these mashed potatoes. At some point, we're going to take a break, and I'm going to knock out these mashed potatoes and put them in the oven. They're not ready yet, and we're going to assemble the whole thing. It should go pretty quick. Don't anticipate this taking a long time tonight. Any questions? Okay, good. That's going to be there for a sec. Get our trusty burner right here. Ooh, it's hot. And this gravy is going to be thickened with a roux. So we're going to steal some duck fat from the deep fryer here. Start things off. And I want my onions. So again, I'm going to speed caramelize these. You don't have to do that. There's no rush. But we're going to go a little bit quicker here. And honestly, like, you shouldn't speed caramelize your onions. You want to take some time. You want to give it the time for the sugars to develop and all that flavor. So if you're not on stream, don't rush this part. It's not a huge sacrifice we're making here. We're not giving up a lot of flavor, but there's no reason to rush this part either. Yes, chicken fried is a southern dish. Texas laid claim to it because they lay claim to everything, but nobody's really certain. I don't think I did say, but I don't think anybody's truly certain on the origin of chicken fried steak. Just because Texas said it was their thing doesn't mean it's actually true. Okay, big chunks of onion. So I draw the line at like really huge chunks of onion. We can like pop our thyme in here. We just want the tiniest little dusting of thyme. It is like schnitzel. But it's not breaded. That's the thing, there's no breadcrumbs, right? It's done like fried chicken. So when I do my buttermilk fried chicken, I dredge it in the seasoned flour into the wash and then back into the seasoned flour, which is what we're going to do tonight. And I hope it works. Okay, while these are cooking down, I want to do, we haven't done a cool thing in a while. And I kind of want to do a cool thing, because I learned something these days. So, I don't know if you guys know this, but I go to Cooks Illustrated. I go to Cooks Illustrated for a lot of my advice or a lot of my research. So if I'm looking for a new appliance, I'll go to Cooks Illustrated and I will look up, you know, they do all the testing and they're supposedly impartial, blah, blah, blah. And I think for the most part, that's true. However, if you look at this guy, so this is the Cooks Illustrated highest rated non-stick pan. I got this at Canadian Tire. It was dirt cheap. It was like $17. And it's a pretty decent non-stick pan. Non-stick pans, they don't last forever. So it's not like, there's not a ton of point spending a ton of money on them. And I was really happy with that pan. I have a larger one too. So my friend Rebecca gave me this one recently. This is made by Tramontina, the Pro Series. It's got a nice aluminum base. It's heavy. It's got the protective handle. This handle feels amazing. The coating is way more non-stick. Non-sticker. Anyway, much better than the Tefal pan. This is a fantastic pan. I highly recommend this. I don't normally recommend non-stick pans. I think my position on non-stick pans has always been like, buy cheap and then throw them out when they stop sticking. But I really think this is a great pan. So that's my cool thing for the week. I'm pretty sure Rebecca got it on Amazon. So Tramontina Pro Series. I just had fantastic luck with it. So there you go. Okay, put that down for now and get back to cooking. Okay, so we got some good color on these onions. We got our thyme in. We are going to throw in some garlic, which I have pre-done here. Of course, garlic goes in until it's aromatic, which is 30 seconds. And I actually think I'm going to dip in a little more oil here. Or duck fat, rather. Because the next thing in, you guys can't smell it, but I can. So there you go, there's your big whiff of garlic. We're going to go with the flour now to make this into a roux. Heat down just a bit. You do have to cook your roux in this dish for probably a couple of minutes. Raw flour is not a nice taste in a dish. But this is still, we're not going for like a dark Cajun roux here. We're just making it to thicken the sauce. So for a weeknight thing, this is a great dish because this gravy, you'll see, it's just going to simmer for a few minutes and then thicken right up. So, any other questions? So we're going to add like, you can't see it here. Yeah, you can. I got half a cup of chicken broth here and a cup of milk. It's going to go in a sec. And then we'll put this thing literally on the back burner. Kind of feel it's probably cooked enough. I got some good color on the, you guys can see, I got some good color on the flour here. Remember, in this dish, like, color is going to be flavor. Let's get the chicken stock in there. I'm going to deglaze the pan with that as well. scrape up all those good bits. So if you were going to do this dish, let's say you were going to do it and you didn't have a deep fryer, you're going to fry it in oil, then I would fry it up in the pan and then use that pan to make the gravy so that you could deglaze that pan. This is really chunky. I'm going to have to whisk this guy. Am I going to have to actually whisk this? We'll see. We'll see. Let's get this back up to temperature. And, you know, I think we want, you know, this is, we want a good shot of salt in here. A solid pinch. Again, we're aiming for flavor here, so a solid pinch of pepper here. Let's go. Nah, it's not good. So again, this has to come back to a boil or it will not thicken. So anytime, especially with milk, if you're working with a roux and milk, and this happens with mac and cheese, with my mac and cheese, bechamel, if it does not come back to a boil, it will not thicken. But I'm kind of liking it. Smells good. Okay, you know, this is happening now. So this is way different. The onions, I think, are a good add here. I stole the onion idea from John Currance, who has an amazing book called Pickles, Pigs, and Whiskey. He's a Southern chef as well, who moved from New Orleans. He moved to Mississippi and opened a restaurant there. And it's a fantastic cookbook. And I'll probably do more from it a little bit later. But yeah, you can see this is already thickened up into a gravy. Like, we might even have to thin this thing. So that's done. This goes on the burner for a sec. And now we're going to check our potatoes. Potatoes are not ready. So I don't think we need this thing again. Okay, let's get into preparing the beef. So now, let me check the temperature of the oil. Okay, not nearly hot enough, so this is going to get plugged back in. And while the oil comes back up to temperature, we are going to finish off the beef. So let's make our seasoned flour here. So this is just flour. We are going to add 2 big solid pinches of salt. We're going to add a decent pinch of pepper here. Again, we're shooting for flavor. And I think I'm going to put in a pinch of cayenne too. Just a tiny little bit. Should do it. We're going to mix this together. So this is our seasoned flour, and this is exactly the same thing I use for my fried chicken. Okay, now the wash. And the wash is pretty straightforward too. I'm going to start with 2 eggs, which I have here. 1, 2 eggs, lightly beaten, whatever. And this is where we're going to add in our, I can put the buttermilk in, so this is buttermilk. And now, this is our cheater stuff, not cheat, it's not cheating, it's just tenderizing. We're going to go with 1 teaspoon, give or take, of baking soda, maybe half a teaspoon of soda. You don't need a ton of baking soda for this. This is also a lot more egg wash than I need for like 4 pieces, but these are the quantities that I remember, and I don't want to scale it down, so maybe I can use this for something else. Okay, I got a wire right here. So pop this guy out, and this part's pretty straightforward. Now I do want to check. We may take a break here and do the potatoes, because I need the oil to come up to temperature. Which it has not. Okay, let's see where the potatoes are at. Potatoes are ready. Hallelujah. Okay. So, change my mind. We're going to do the mashed potatoes real quick. Mashed potatoes are super easy, guys. You can mash them however you want. I really like using a potato ricer, which is this thing. It's basically a giant garlic press. I should mention too, and I'll mention when I get back. Get back in here. Ah, hot. That went well. So for stream, I cut these potatoes, I peeled these potatoes and cut them into chunks to cook them faster. It's technically better to cook them in their jackets so they don't release all their starch into the water. And the ricer makes it unnecessary to peel them because the ricer will capture all of the skins. But because I was doing it on stream, I decided I would just peel them and get them done. Again, it's not a huge issue, not the end of the world, but just something to be aware of. You want to preserve that flavor whenever you can. And we need just like a few more potatoes here. There we go. And you can see we got like a beautiful consistency in these potatoes. The only thing we're going to need is like a ton of butter. You would be shocked at how much butter you can whip into mashed potatoes. They just have an enormous appetite. And again, we're going to season these guys. A little bit of salt. Right? No pepper in the mashed potatoes. There's going to be plenty in the gravy. If I had heavy cream, I might put a bit of heavy cream in here. I'm going to keep it simple tonight. I really like the consistency of these mashed potatoes, nice and light and fluffy. I'm going to top it with just a little more butter. And then we'll pop this in the oven, and I'll just get it out. I haven't made mashed potatoes in ages. And having extra, I have a lot of mashed potatoes here. Obviously, I'm not going to eat all this tonight. But you can like flatten these into patties, put them in a pan in the morning, and fry them up for breakfast. Do whatever you want. And see where our oil is at. Any questions? Yeah, it's only 7:30, guys. We're ripping through this. Okay, oil's at temperature. So let's get these guys dredged up and ready to go. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to dredge them all in the flour. You can split the seasoned flour into 2 bowls, and I could go just like 1, 2, 3. But I'm not going to do that because I'm kind of lazy tonight. So I'm just going to dredge these guys first, and then I'll dip them in the egg. Come back. This is also going to make a lot of chicken fried steak. I guess you can't have too much, right? Okay, so that's it for the seasoned flour. And now we're going to go... Oh no, we need that again. What am I saying? That's not it. There's a particular technique for doing like washes like this where it's like wet hand, dry hand, and I can never wrap my head around it, and I always end up just basically doing this. But we want a good shaggy coating on this, same as you would want on your fried chicken. I feel we've got it there. Maybe tongs might do this better, but probably a bigger bowl here too. I'm trying to like save some counter space here. But again, nice shaggy coating on that. Let's get a little more on there. Yeah, look at that. That's going to be a good coating. Okay, I'm going to give myself a little more space to work with this coating. There we go. Bowl wasn't cutting it. Push this in. Nice shaggy coating. And one more. Oh, you guys can still see. Oh, I'm under the thing. Oh well. Trust me, it was the same as the other three. Okay. Coating done. And just let me rinse my hands off. You can see what happens when you don't follow the wet hand, dry hand technique. Whatever it is. All right, now, as I said, if you don't have a deep fryer full of duck fat, you don't have to have it. It's not necessary. You can simply fry these in a pan of oil and flip them over. You can use peanut. You can use any kind of oil you want. So you do want a deep a lot of oil though. This isn't like pan for like a saute. This is like a full. You want to deep fry it, even if you're just doing one side at a time. And anyone want to guess on the cooking time for these guys? I'm gonna eyeball it. I'm gonna say it's probably about 3 minutes. I'm just gonna do these 2 at a time. Let's see how that goes. Maybe even 1 at a time would have been better. And let me just, so let's say, I gotta check them in 3 minutes. And we'll see how it goes. Looking at my deep fryer already, I have a feeling that they should have gone in just 1 at a time. They're pretty big. They're not like chicken pieces that are sinking to the bottom. Can't show you guys, but it's no, it's gonna be okay. I'll just keep turning them. Okay, so already I can tell the color is way better than the times I've done it before. The coating looks totally different, so I am now optimistic. I'm not a huge fan of this orange garnish thing. It gets in the way. Okay, place her in the oven so I get that. Plate. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm watching the color because 3 minutes might be too long actually. And give my gravy a stir. Okay, I am back. Any questions? We're kind of ripping through this. I'm feeling good about it. It looks good, smells good. Okay, so 2 minutes per side sounds about right too, but in the deep fryer, all sides are at once. So I'm thinking they're probably done. Ooh, that's hot. They look done to me. I'll show you guys. Yeah, these are definitely done. Hope you guys can see. Oh, hang on. Let's go back to that. It looks incredible, actually. It definitely didn't look like this the last time I made it. It really didn't. I don't know if you guys can. Oh yeah, I should not have picked that up like that. Hang on. I want to pick this up to the camera so you guys can have a good look at it. You can zoom in, but look. I mean, the color is incredible. Okay, now it's mashed potatoes and gravy time, so let's do that. Everything is hot tonight. Yeah, a side of mashed potato. Well, it's a lot of mashed potatoes. Never gonna be able to eat all this. And there's our gravy. It has a beautiful color too. So I'm also really happy with the gravy because the gravy, I made this the first time, it was like white. It was not appetizing, and not like white like a good turkey gravy, just like weird white, like it come out of a can, or I don't know. It just didn't look good. All right. So what do you guys think? This is it. Chicken and waffles. This is chicken fried steak. I don't even know where to like get into this guy, but let's give it a shot here. Good crunch. Oh, hot. Mmm. Really hot. Guys, this is good. This is really good. Try another bite. But I am coating didn't stick as much as I wanted to. I'm gonna go into no. You absolutely don't. These things are like a quarter of an inch thick at best, so there's just no point letting them rest. You're also, they get cooked well done in the oil, right? Like this isn't like a steak, it's more like a burger. Gravy's great. Let's try a little mashed potatoes here. Good. You can, yes, you're right, Rebecca. I should do that. If they gave the coating a chance to hydrate and everything else, it would have been better. This one's stuck. This one's sticking. This one I can see it's separating a little bit. Okay. Guys, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I'm going to keep showing you guys this, actually. I'm going to have a couple more bites. Maybe we can chat about it next week. Did I say that you can really taste the aggressive seasoning? I think that's a good thing. Yeah. Okay. So, this is kind of a... Sorry. Oh, yeah? There you go. I'm learning from the best. Me. No, I'm kidding. I shouldn't say that. That's weird. Okay. This is kind of a personal victory for me. I feel vindicated because I knew this was a good dish. It sounds good on paper. People rave about it, and the last 2 times I made it, it was not good. But it was definitely not like this. So, you want to make chicken fried steak, guys? Punch up your gravy and just treat it like fried chicken. This is my fried chicken coating. Look at this. It's like fried chicken. It's hot though. Mm. And the cream gravy isn't weird. The cream gravy I had before, I told you, looked strange. Like milk that had been sitting in some kind of like bland cereal. Not an appetizing image. I shouldn't talk about images like that when I'm eating. Anyway, guys, I'm going to take some questions we can talk about next week, but I'm really happy with this. I have a ton of leftovers, so it's a good thing I like it. Yeah. The meat is tender. Let me dig a piece out here. If I can. But the meat has the same consistency, same tenderness that like velveted meat does in like an Asian dish. It's also so thin, right? Like quarter inch. Let me show you guys. Like, oh here. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me bring it up to the camera a bit. But that's a thin piece of meat. And I think Rebecca's right. It needs to sit and the coating to hydrate and stick better. Now I'm just stuffing myself. Okay. While I'm picking out, what do you guys feel like for next week? I feel like, let me tell you you know what I want to do next week? I'm actually going to tell you guys what we're doing next week. So, I tried something recently, and this may be the fastest entry into the Blue Book ever. I really like gnocchi, and I had my mom down for dinner the other night. And I normally, when I'm in a hurry, I'll make a ricotta gnocchi, which is really good. Goes together super easy. It's tasty. It's a little bit lighter tasting than the potato, the traditional. However, I was looking around, and I found like basically a French version of gnocchi, which is made with pâte à choux, which is a French egg pastry, and you just put the egg pastry in a piping bag and you pipe it out into the water and you cut off the little pieces as it comes out. You boil it for a couple of minutes till it's done, and then later on you put it in a frying pan with oil, and they puff up. They get golden, delicious. And I served it over a stew, which is like a French pesto. It was very, very similar to a pesto. I had basil in it, and oregano, and olive oil, no pine nuts, which is good for me. And it was just delicious. It was absolutely fantastic. So I think I want to show you guys how to make that next week, because it's super easy to put together. And knowing how to make pâte à choux is a really good thing to know anyway. It's so versatile. So, for example, what I did with it was I made a savory version with, I think I grated some Gruyere into it, maybe Emmentaler, one of the two, it doesn't matter. But it's also, of course, you can make a sweet version, like profiteroles are pâte à choux with a little cream inside and the little fancy. They look like little cabbages, which is how they got its name. But I want to make it for you next week because it was a taste sensation, and it was light. It was really pleasing to eat. It fit perfectly into the sort of the multi-course Italian meal that I was making. So yeah, pretty happy. So I'm going to do that for you next week. We can talk about the week after, or if you guys want to see a cocktail next week. Okay then. I am going to sign off, finish my chicken fried steak, and I'll see you guys next week. So, as always, thanks for coming in. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Love doing this for you guys. Probably never going to stop. Yeah. We'll see you next week. Now I can come back. Yes, we can do a martini episode. This will be like the credits in a Marvel movie. Everybody who's too impatient has already left the theater. They're going to miss the fact that next week we're going to do a martini episode. So yeah, credits have rolled. You found out who the assistant to the first gaffer was, and finally you got this little teaser for next week. So good night again, everybody. It's going to be martinis next week.